All right, we're going to use, I don't know how to pronounce that, but S-04 dry ale yeast. We've got our water, 104 degrees. This is supposed to give us a good sweet flavored cider. I like them sweet instead of dry. We're going to add it to this water. Here, rip that open and throw it in there. We're going to make 5 gallons. I'm going to stir it in, let it sit, come to life while we're out here getting the rest of the cider bucket ready. All right, we're going to make cider today. We got 5 gallons of juice. First step, sanitize everything, star sand. Second step, get your yeast ready. Let it sit up for a minute. Third step, pour your juice in the bucket. Make sure it's apple juice. Make sure it don't have sucralose in it. If they put sucralose in it, that's fake sugar. It's not good. It could say juice from concentrate. It could say 100 different things, but if it says sucralose in it as an ingredient, then it's not going to work, and it's going to be bad for you. It'll give you brain cancer and all that other shit. Don't confuse sucrose with sucralose. Sucrose means sugar. Sucralose is a chemical. It's like aspartame. Alright, you want to use a cup of sugar per gallon. You could use more if you want, or you can add it later after a couple weeks to a month after it sits. You could use white sugar or brown sugar. I use about half and half. This time I'm going to use 3 cups of white sugar, 2 cups of brown sugar. We're going to stir it up real good. Alright, you want to add the yeast, salt. Got air bubbles in it. Mix it up real good. Now you want to set for at least 2 weeks. Probably better off for if you set for a month. But you could take and, if you wanted to, you could switch it from this barrel to another one in 2 weeks. Does that not sit on there good?
Wow.
We just bought that.
Wow.
That's just brand new.
Beat it on there.
Make sure you sanitize this before you use it. You want to let it sit somewhere where it's dark and about room temperature. All right, we want to clean it up, so we're going to move it from our bucket to our secondary. So I'm going to use this carboy as my secondary. You need an auto siphon. So these things are real cheap. You don't want to put this on bottom because you don't want to suck that sludge up and put it over here. We're trying to get rid of the yeast and everything that's left over in the bottom of the bucket. So we're going to move all this liquid into this big glass jug. just called carboy. And when we do that, we're gonna let that sit a couple days. Then we're gonna do this again. We're gonna move it from the carboy to our bottling bucket. And I'm gonna re-sweeten this because it's really dry. I took a little sip of it, and it's really strong. I let it sit a lot longer than it needed to because it kind of got cold outside, and I let it go over the winter. It's normally you could brew this in 30 days. All right, I just want to show you what we're trying to avoid. There's a little layer of sludge and dead yeast in the bottom of this bucket. It's what you're trying to get away from. You don't want to remove that into your clean. This is where all your clean stuff is. You don't want to see that. I mean, it won't hurt you. The worst, it'll give you the shits if you drink it. But if you could avoid that being in your bottle, then why not? So we try and stay above that. And yeah, we're going to end up wasting probably about a quarter of a gallon of liquid. I mean, if we really wanted to, we could get that out of there. The quarter of a gallon. But, I mean, it's just water. It's just apple juice. And we're reaching the bottom to where we might suck that up. And I'm going to avoid that at all costs. Because I don't want that shit. I don't want to see that shit when I'm drinking a bottle of beer. All right, now we let this sit for a day or two. So all that, whatever yeast is left is going to settle on the bottom of this, which is a very tiny amount now because most of it got left in that other bucket. We're now moving it to our bottling bucket over here. And once we move it to our bottling bucket, we're going to put some corn sugar in it so that it creates some CO2. After it sits in these bottles for a couple weeks, that sugar is going to turn into carbonation, and it'll be carbonated like beer. I already got these sanitized. These are really cool bottles. Most of them are Grolsch. I think this was a Fisher. I drank these a long time ago. I've been reusing them ever since. We'll come back to you once it's all moved and we're adding our sugar. Alright, you want to prime it, which means you want to add sugar to this before you bottle it. And we use corn sugar. It's called priming sugar, or to say corn sugar. It could say dextrose. You could really, if you wanted to, you could use apple juice. You could use corn syrup. You could probably make you a syrup out of some water and some sugar on the stove, just regular white sugar. You can use brown sugar, as long as it's real dissolvable, it's real fine. They use this most of the time because it's really fine and it dissolves easy. But we use 0.66
ounces per gallon.
0.66 ounces per gallon on average. We got about 3 gallons of cider left after everything's said and done.
Use 2 ounces of that.
So we're using 2 ounces of this, and we're not going to dissolve this on the stove with a cup of water. You could put a cup of water on the stove top, and you could dissolve this. But we got this badass mixer, and we're about to use it. Put that mixer over here. Ready? Clean?
Yeah, I just washed it. I didn't wash it over.
Alright, this is a bottling one. Real cheap. It's a few bucks at the bottling store. It's got this little tip in it. You put it on the end here. Can you see this here?
No, zoomed out. Yeah.
Zoom in right here. It's got this little lever. This is a bottling bucket. This is specific for moving this stuff in the bottles. So basically you turn this knob here and it sends it through this hose, and then you put this down inside your bottles, and it fills the bottles up. It's got a little tip in the, can you see it on there? You zoomed right in on this?
Yeah.
It's got a little tip, and when you pull it up, it will stop running. need to be, and it stops because this little tip in the end. Alright, so once you get this bottled, you want to let it sit for at least a week. Usually you wait 2 weeks. After a week, if you want to try one, grab one up, open it up, pour it in a cup, see how many suds you got. And hopefully it's carbonated. Should be good and crystal clear. It's a little dry. I like it. Still has the apple flavor though. Some people re-sweeten with Splenda. I don't use fake sugar for anything. I never will. I don't consume it. I don't let my kids consume it. It's just nasty shit. So, but if you want, by all means, use you some Splenda. Might give you brain cancer or something 10 years down the road, but whatever. Alright, if you don't have the seal tops from the Grolsch bottles, you can save old beer bottles, clean them up, whatever you want. And you can leave the labels on them if you want to. I scrub them off. Get you some caps. They have oxygen barriers. Come in a pack like this at your brew utensil store. But it's basically set it on top, put it in this thing here, put the cap on top, or you could shove, there's a magnet in here, so you could shove it up there if you wanted to. I'll show you one once we fill it up. So basically, you fill it up to about there, put your cap on it. Can you see this?
Yeah.
This thing's adjustable. You buy one of these at brew utensils also. You could get a cheaper model of this, but you might as well, if you're going to bottle some stuff, get this one here. Push down. It crimps that on there for you. That's good and sealed. Let that sit for 2 weeks. That'll be a fresh bottle of beer. Look, it's already, look at that. 2 weeks, that thing's gonna be sparkling.
Get that out of your mouth.
All right, so end result, we ended up with a lot of waste. You'll have that sometimes. You could prevent it if you really, really want to. We ended up with 3 gallons to bottle, and we ended up with all these bottles from it. I got some green ones here. These are old Stella bottles. I drink Stella a lot. I forget what these are from, like 5 years ago. Something I drank. I used to have a bunch of Amstel Light bottles, but it's not strong enough beer to drink anymore. Then we ended up with some of these. These are really cool. You don't need one of these bottling things. And one wine bottle, or 1/5 bottle. So we got a little bottle of champagne, I guess. But it's going to be good. We'll show you the next, once it's carbonated all the way, we'll open some up. We'll drink it. Oh, this is leftover. I'm going to drink this now. You could drink it like that. It's just, you want some cider, you want some suds in there. It's good like that though. It's like a wine, apple wine. We'll show you when it's carbonated. It's been like 2.5 days. But I can't wait. I want to see what happens in 2.5 days. Is there any carbonation at all? Oh, I heard a very little. 2.5 days. No. Hell no. Gotta wait longer. Still gonna fucking drink it though. 1 week. That's more of a. We'll try it. Scoot that over here. Oh shit, we got suds, homie. Look at that, motherfucker. Suds, boy. Oh, hell yeah. That's good. Another week is going to do it even better. 1 week and you get suds. Probably have more suds after 2 weeks. Oh yeah, you see that? That's beautiful. This shit's good too. Two weeks. Fucking awesome.